Hi everyone and welcome back to Splash Page. I'm Sean, as always, I'm joined by Andrew.
Hey.
And today we are going to talk about Season 2, Episode 0 of Invincible.
How crazy is that?
Yeah, it's wild. The secret episode just randomly dropped on us the same day they let us know that Season 2 is actually going to go live on November 3rd. So what we needed to do was immediately watch the trailer, do our review for that, and a 50-minute episode, and as quickly as possible pull together our thoughts. And Andrew, what are your thoughts?
I was very excited that there was another episode to watch. Like going in, that was my only thought was, but wait, we get an episode? Okay, we haven't had an episode in 2 years now. And this is a nice fun backstory episode for Adam Eve, so it's kind of like off of the main timeline, so it's not interrupting anything. It's kind of just out there.
Yeah, low stakes for us.
Yes.
To get something right or wrong.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, did you expect it any other way? We waited for so long, like just throwing a secret episode at us just seems so on brand.
It kind of makes sense too. Now that I'm thinking about it, it feels like what Netflix did with the Sandman after the season. They did a weird interim story. So this is like, listen, we still have a number of months till the season. Here's just like a weird prequel, interim, extra story.
Yeah,
I
loved it.
A little novella in between novels, if you will.
Yeah, and listen, it wasn't the best episode of Invincible by any means, but it was fun and it got us back into the world.
Yeah.
And let's jump in.
Let's do it.
We open up in a lab or some kind of military hospital where the Lizard League, who is a pretty B-level villain group,
At best.
but one that we should remember because they do show up a few times. And their leader is the Lizard Queen here in the show, but in the book, it is a Lizard King.
Well, we have the Lizard Prince who has the battle plans which are poorly laid out, and Lizard Mom shuns him in front of the rest of the league.
Yeah. Then we have kind of a modified Guardians of the Globe show up, and it's modified because now we realize that we're not in the present day. This is taking place well before the start of the series in, season 1. And this modified group is the Immortal, War Woman, Aquarius, Black Samson, who still has his powers, and the Green Ghost. But at this point, if you notice, Green Ghost is a man. So this is before the Green Ghost mantle has been passed to the woman that we see in episode 1 of season 1.
Because that was like her first week on the job in season 1. She was getting used to it. And they're not dead yet because it's in the past. But we're missing some Guardians as well, right?
Yeah, we're missing Darkwing, who we hear is still healing from a battle with Chronodile, who is this crocodile humanoid who has chrononesis.
Which is a medical thing I've heard of, that's for sure real.
Yeah, totally
what
real.
Is it?
It's the ability to manipulate time. And hopefully we see him, kind of a silly character who shows up a few times in the comics themselves. We hear that Red Rush is in Russia, and that Martian Man is with Andrew, your favorite character, Darkblood, helping them out with some mystery.
So we're a little short-handed, but they're calling in someone new. They're calling in a reservist to help out.
Yeah, and that kind of gives the Immortal a bit of pause, as he's not happy that this reservist refused to join the team, but no one is surprised when Omni-Man shows up.
I'll be honest, I was a little surprised. I thought it was going to be Adam Eve for a second because I didn't know what year we were in yet. But no, it made more sense that it was Omni-Man. I did want to talk about this battle really quick because one thing, Aquarius and Black Samson both fighting over who gets to kill one particular lizard person reminded me very much of the opposite personality of Aquarius and Martian Man in that fight in episode 1, season 1, where Aquarius and Martian Man, they're a team. They're of one mind. I'll go this way, you go that way. Whereas before that all went down, Aquarius and Samson were apparently fighting, like infighting in the middle of a battle. I thought that was an interesting kind of character choice there.
Yeah, maybe there's a video in that. You did such a great job breaking down the fight between the Mauler twins and the original Guardians of the Globe. Let us know if you want to see Andrew put together a video about this fight.
If there's a video there, I'll make it. Also, I was kind of intrigued by the relationship between Immortal and War Woman, because it seems like War Woman has the team's entire calendar, and Immortal has no idea where anyone on this team he leads is at any given time until he doesn't see them in a battle.
Yeah.
He's basically like the coach of a football team, and she's the owner almost. Like, I know where everything is. You just deal with everything you're the point man on the field, but she's in control of everything before and after that kind of. Does that make sense?
Makes complete sense.
Yeah.
And with War Woman being a Greek god, I'm wearing the God Complex shirt from Fat Guy Party Shirts, fgps.com. A link to their site to buy this shirt and a lot of other great designs is down in the comments. And since Omni-Man is there to save the day, we see the battle quickly come to an end. And at this point is when you should like and subscribe to Splash Page, because if you like us talking about Invincible, we're going to be doing it a lot more, and make sure that you come on the journey with us. So like and subscribe to our channel.
Yeah, it's going to be fun because Omni-Man finishes the battle, and we kind of see that off in the background as a scientist whose name is Dr. Brandyworth is escaping with his very pregnant patient, Polly. Apparently, the whole Lizard League setup was a diversion so he could escape that facility, right?
Yeah, that's what I took away from it.
Erickson, who's the leader of the facility and is probably the Cecil of the era, he's running the global... We're assuming this is the Global Defense Agency, right?
Yeah, that's what I took away from it as well.
So he's trying to escape. Erickson is iron-fisted, and he set up a Lizard League attack to get this patient out of here. Now, this patient is having a baby early, giving birth early, and this baby is full of crazy superhuman energy that is exploding through her mother as they jump in a car, run to a hospital, and watch the mother fully explode in the room with energy. Everyone in the room dies except Brandyworth, who gives birth to the child and then has to hide it from Erickson, who's finally tracked him down.
And he hides it in a pretty interesting way. Basically, another couple lost their child, and he makes it appear that the child survived, and therefore this normal run-of-the-mill American family is getting a top secret weapon as a daughter.
Yeah, and nobody knows it except Brandyworth, because she doesn't have her powers yet, as we can see in the fun growing up montage of birthday parties and angry parents and her sitting on her own and being sad. And then finally meeting her one friend, Val, who lives across the street.
But there's a couple strange choices by the writers here, and particularly with the father character, that when Adam Eve is, 9, she helps a high school student with his chemistry homework, and rather than be proud of your daughter who is intelligent, he's kind of like freaked out by her. Andrew, what were your thoughts about that?
The line that killed me, that was cemented, this is the strangest, I think this wins for strangest character choice ever in a series. Is that an Oscar? The line that cemented it for me was when the dad smashes his hand into a table and says, "There's other subjects outside of science." He is
I hate that my daughter is smart.
Literally the only human being on the planet who's pissed that his daughter wants to go into STEM, that his daughter is good at chemistry. It's like, you should be going for acting or writing or at least...
Yeah.
Like, what? Be a normal girl. Don't be so smart and intelligent with your science. It's the strangest...
Get a degree that has no future, you.
It's the strangest... He wants her to be well-rounded, but he only has one emotion, and that's furious anger.
Yeah.
It's the craziest thing. It is very much like a 1950s comic book where you have the main character and they're like, what's his backstory? Oh, well, his father was mad at him all the time, so... But then they didn't ever have to go into it. So they're like, oh, crap. Well, her father's mad at her all the time. It made sense once she had powers and he was powerless to stop his teenage daughter, but it makes zero sense for him to have a 9-year-old who loves science and be mad at her for that.
Yeah, it made no sense. And because, in the comic, you get a few panels with this guy, and it does exactly what you said, Andrew. It just proves that, she didn't have a great relationship with him. But when they're trying to break that out and show you more about why they don't have a great relationship, they're just basically making him, some maniac. That makes no sense.
He truly is a lunatic.
I mean, people, I guess, exist like that out there, but for him to just be upset that his daughter's really good at science is such a strange one. That's that. And honestly, I think her mother's worse because her mother keeps trying to feed her cream cheese and olive sandwiches. And honestly, jail. Like that, for me, prison.
Is that the old,
be locked away for life.
Is that the old family recipe that everyone keeps trying to forget, but it keeps making its way down the line?
I mean, I honestly feel bad for her because she, figures out her powers, and maybe the food is just so terrible in her house. The only thing she knows outside of olive and cream cheese sandwiches is hamburgers. Because every other thing she eats is hamburgers.
Well, she didn't actually get her powers from her birth mother. She got her powers from so many cream cheese and olive sandwiches that her body just physically changes that I can't take it anymore. But she does figure out her powers first with the cream cheese and olive sandwich turned into a burger, and she turned her textbook into glass, which was really cool. I love the glass textbook. That's a fun art piece. And then she attacks her best friend with a ball of pink energy for just to show off, but obviously that frightens the hell out of Val. No more best friend.
Yeah, back as a loner, who is kind of where we met Adam Eve, with the exception of we knew she had now this secret life where she did have a boyfriend and kind of a team.
Right.
But in high school, seems like no one even knew she existed.
Yeah. Well, now we get the superhero day one montage where she figures out she can kind of fly. She's got her pink energy hoverboard, and she's laying in bed and is able to create a domino mask out of energy particles, but still puts on pink sweatpants because every year one superhero has to wear bad sweatpants their first time out, and flies around the city on this pink surfboard of energy until she finds two guys who are, criminals, doing what criminals do, stealing dogs to sell to a lab.
That's such a weird thing. Just rob a bank.
Even one of the
that's so dark.
Even one of the criminals was like, "Why are we doing this?"
Yeah.
But she was
how much money are you really gonna make?
Exactly. But she was able to stop them by turning their helmets into iron or whatever it was. And,
their masks, their ski masks,
ski masks.
Like a heavy metal.
And then runs into Brandyworth again, who's kind of creeping on her this whole time. The first time he saw her, I believe, was when she forgot that her powers were science and not magic and tried to wish a squirrel into a dog. And now she's having burgers with Brandyworth, and we get her full backstory, which we already kind of know, but now we learn that her mother was a homeless woman that they paid to do this procedure, this experiment, and then it went poorly and she died, and now she knows her history.
Yeah, and it's touched on in the comics. I think there are a few pages in a special issue,
an insert
that talks more about it. Yeah, and to be honest with you, cool. I mean, it's a fine background. It's probably not an uncommon background for superheroes, but yeah. I mean, and from there the episode quickly kind of resolves itself.
Well, real quick, we learn that she can't change living tissue just because of a mental block that he put in her somehow. So that's the only reason she couldn't turn a squirrel into a dog. But that comes up with the other creations that his name is Rogers, the secondary scientist after Brandyworth left.
Yep.
He's not quite so good as Brandyworth, and also he didn't put that mental block in. So now she tries to help the cops fight a bunch of shape-shifting creatures who aren't that great at shape-shifting even themselves, but it's just a trap from Erickson to try to get her back, which eventually succeeds.
Yeah, and Roger's creations, these kind of 4 children, these things just look miserable.
Yeah.
And it's like so sad to see, but they quickly get taken out, and really, I don't even consider it Adam Eve taking them out. They kind of just dissolve, to your point.
Yeah. Well, they were furious at her for being better than them, and then as the last one was disintegrating, decided, nope, I love you and thank you for holding me as I float away into, I don't know. Well, Adam Eve ends up locked back up at a facility. Brandyworth is there. Erickson wants to keep them both hostage, but you can't hold Adam Eve. She can break out of anything. She could change atoms. So she breaks out. They find her mother. Just to speed through this ending a little bit here. Accidental shot. Empties the tank with her brain-dead mother, who they'd been keeping alive just to create these other creatures. Which no wonder they came out a little malformed. And Eve goes Super Saiyan, kind of loses that mental block for a moment, and makes everyone in the room kind of forget. She screws with their minds and makes them forget her.
Yeah, and there's also, the moment that she kind of gets injured and is able to subconsciously fix herself, which to your point earlier, Andrew, the mental block of her not being able to change living tissue certainly is a mental block, not something she's incapable of doing.
Right.
So her doing it here is important because Adam Eve helping people and fixing injuries is pretty important to later in the story. So just kind of setting the groundworks on like she has the ability to do that.
So that'll be interesting to see, and then we see her get home, really cry, kind of take out this emotion, and then her parents are pissed at her again because she missed her birthday, and they ate an entire quarter of her cake, which seemed too much to have eaten in the time they waited. And then we jump to the post-credit scene, where Mark is a superhero, but his superpower is that he wrapped himself in duct tape.
Yeah. Which is cute, right? It's like a silly kid thing
he's like
to
9, 10 years old, yeah.
But then again, another strange reaction, in my opinion, that they make Nolan get like furiously angry for like 3 seconds before he like chills out. Yeah. It's just like, okay, man, we know it. We know what you're dealing with. But in the comic, it was more, he became a little softer because Mark was born, and here it's like he's still this like rage-filled animal, which I don't know. Well, it's just a bit over the top for me. What did you think?
I thought it was a fine reaction, just at a weird time because we haven't gone through all of season 1 yet. He hasn't gotten to that moment where he didn't kill Mark. So.
Or, he never kills Mark. You can't kill Mark. He's invincible.
Well, that's... there you go. Boom, show the title screen.
Exactly, yeah.
But that's our secret Adam Eve episode. Anything else? Did I miss anything? Other points? What do we got here?
No, I think you crushed it. Obviously, guys, like and subscribe. If you do want to read Invincible, down in the description there's a link to the first volume of the comics. And if you click and buy through that link, we'll make a small commission at no extra cost to you. And then also want to call out that if this video gets 200 likes, next video we make, Andrew and I will each take a bite from a cream cheese and olive sandwich.
I did not know that this was going to happen. I'm a little...
Sorry,
okay,
man.
I'm in.
Putting you out there too. And I absolutely despise olives. I used to like olives, and then I had a bad experience with them and hate them, but I will totally do it.
I really like olives. I really like cream cheese, but only on a...
So you're going to eat the whole sandwich, and I'm going to be like vomiting.
Can I eat the whole sandwich, but like just the cream cheese on a bagel and then the bowl of olives? We have to mix them? All right. Let's do this.
Let us know what you thought of this episode. Hopefully you were as excited about Invincible Season 2 as we are.
Well, now I'm torn. I'm hoping this video gets no likes. Also, hit the link down there for the Etsy page if you want to buy one of these cool Splash Page t-shirts.
Yeah, and like and subscribe, and obviously leave comments. Let us know what you think about what's going to happen in Season 2. Well, that's it from us. Take it easy, YouTube.
Later.